ゆく時は満ちて溢れ出す揺れる想いもしも未来に待つ運命が儚くても立ち向かえる信じ合える変わらず君が隣にいるから We should do a stop by me.
Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'm going to share my thoughts on Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuna, which was an anime film that released in 2020 in Japan and then was going to get a Fathom Events release on March 25th, my birthday of 2020, but that got canceled because of the COOF way back when, and the release of the Blu-ray DVD, which is the DVD Blu-ray combo pack, was supposed to come out like in the summer, but then got delayed until September of 2020. So this movie got heavily delayed for us Americans, and very salty about that, because I remember watching the trailers, and I actually had a ticket for the Fathom Events showing, and oh man, I was just bummed that I didn't get to go see it, but eventually I did get the Blu-ray when it came out, and I've seen it a few times now. I just went back to rewatch it, because my friend Justin has been playing through a bunch of the Digimon games, and he was talking about Digimon Tamers and stuff like that. And I've also been watching Digimon Ghost games, so I said, you know, let's go back to this, because I have very fond memories of the initial series. I like 02 for what it's worth. Try, I'm kind of iffy on, but this was fantastic, a fantastic send-off to the series. You see, you actually have the Adventure kids and the 02 kids, and when you open the case here, and you got the DVD Blu-ray combo pack, when you remove both discs here, let's face them upside down so they don't get dirty. But look at this picture here of the 02 kids with XVmon and just seeing all that badassery. Like, is 02 going to get a revival? Because I've heard rumors for a while now that they're working on a movie. But great to see that. And they have a small cameo where they take on some of the Eosmon, attacking all the other Digidestin. So that was cool to see that. But yeah, this is set many years later. I believe they mentioned that Ty and Matt are 22 years old now. They're getting ready to finish college, because there's this one scene when Ty is sitting there with his buddies, and they're like, oh, you haven't started your thesis yet. Oh, I'm working on it. But the initial scene is great homage to the first OVA, Digimon Adventure, where they're fighting Parrotmon, and you have Ty with Agumon, TK with Angemon, and of course, is it Kairi or Kar? I think in English they say it's Kari, but it's really Kairi with Angewomon. Oh yeah, and they're fighting Parrotmon, which I always thought Parrotmon was a champion level, but he's actually an ultimate. And if you know anything of the Digimon, Greymon and Angemon are champion, but Angewomon is an ultimate, which is always confusing to me because Gatomon, you know, appears to be a rookie, but is really the champion stage. But anyway, they're fighting Parrotmon, and they're doing okay. They're actually wearing like headphones and talking to Izzy, who's sort of guiding them throughout. And it's cool now that their Digivices are their phones, which is interesting, getting with the times. And then eventually Matt appears with Garurumon, and he makes this badass entrance on his motorcycle. And with the English dub, you know, it's great to have returning voice actors, like Joshua Seth returns to voice Ty, who's been voicing him all these years. Nicholas Roy, though, is voicing Matt, which I forget who the initial voice actor was, but in the Tri series, Vic Mignogna was the voice actor for Matt. We all know what happened there. Very, very sad that has to happen, but hey, it is what it is. We got Robbie Draymond voices Joe. For TK, we have Johnny Young Bosch. You gotta love that. Kirk Thornton, who returns voicing Gabumon. He's voiced Gabumon throughout the whole time. You may know him as Jin from Samurai Champloo, and as Klein from SAO. Jeff Nimoy, who was actually the initial English dub writer, and he's voicing Tentamon. Shirami Lee, who voices Lucy, Asuna, a bunch of fan favorite waifus. She actually voices Biyomon, which I thought was interesting. Great voice cast. Bryce Papenbrook too. He voices Cody. But anyway, so they're fighting, and it's cool to see Matt come in with his motorcycle to save the day, and they open a portal to the digital world to send Parrotmon away. And then we're introduced to exclusive characters to the movie here. I'll share pictures here. To let's see technical difficulties here. I got all these freaking tabs. But this is essentially the main antagonist here, Manoa Bellucci, who appears with her associate Kiyotaro Yamada. Right, and they're both trying to stop Eosmon, who is this one right here. And Eosmon keeps opening all these different, what they call auroras, and it's rendering Digidestin around the world unconscious. Really, it's Manoa who's behind all this, and Kiyotaro is actually an FBI agent trying to investigate her. But anyway, Manoa gets those who are available, such as Matt, Ty, Izzy, and then TK, because Kari has to disappear for some reason, because, it really puts into effect that the characters are growing up, and it's time to move on. And that's one of the overall messages of the story, is, like, at some point you got to put the past behind you and move on in life. But she sends them in there to the digital world, and it's very reminiscent of our war game when they're traveling from place to place in the internet, which, so much nostalgia. And I love the Digimon movie. I actually have a review. You can refer to the Anime Reviews playlist where I reviewed the Digimon movie this past summer. I love it, man. It still holds up extremely well, in my opinion anyway. But they make their way there to fight Eosmon, and Eosmon eventually digivolves, right, to, that's the champion level, evolves to the ultimate level, and it's pretty overwhelming. So what happens is Gabumon and Agumon have to warp digivolve and then combine to form Omnimon, and they're doing well, but what happens is something hits them, and then this also happens to Ty and Matt's Digivice, where they get this, crest. It's almost like a clock around it that is the time limit that they have left with their Digimon, and then Eosmon makes the great escape, and that's when Manoa reveals that the time that they have is limited with their Digimon, and that's a clock, and your time's going to run out soon, and your Digimon are going to be no more. And that's what happened to her way back when. But, our heroes have to reflect as to what's going on, what they want to do in life here, because, they love their Digimon. They've been with them, I think the initial series, they were 10 years old when they were buddies, and, they've been together ever since. And, they all sort of have their reflection. Like, Ty is in his apartment just sort of sulking. And there's actually kind of a funny scene, too, when Agumon finds his dirty magazines. He's like, "What's that, Ty? What are you hiding? Oh, they're for adults," sort of hinting again to the overall theme. And then what happens is Jenna actually appears from the digital world and gives Ty the pep talk. So great cameo to see Jenna there. And he tells them, that's the time you have left, unless you have some more potential. You gotta do with the time that you have left. You gotta do what you can. And then we get the cameos to the 02 kids, and they're out in New York, and they can open like portals to travel in the digital world. So it's cool to see them. Ken, what's Davis? Really, his name is Daisuke, but in English it's Davis, Yoli, Cody, etc., etc. And there's actually a cameo, and you can see it later on. But there's a cameo on Izzy's computer with the name Wallace, which is Willis from the movie. And then at the very end, when all the Digidestined are returned to their former self, you see a shadowy figure walking with Terriermon and Cocomon. So that's awesome. It would have been great if Wallace/Willis appeared in this movie, but alas, he didn't. So what happens is, slowly but surely, our Digidestined, get attacked by Manoa, and they become unconscious. And there's this pretty crazy scene, too, where she sends an email to Izzy, says which one, and it has Kari and TK both tied up unconscious. It's like, holy shit, it's like torture. And then Yotaro eventually, reveals to Matt that he's the FBI agent trying to bring her down, because she's like the cause behind all the unconscious Digidestined. And then at that point, they make their way into the digital world to face her. And we get a heartfelt moment with her and how she had the Digimon Morphomon, right? Which is, let's see, this one right here. And that's what eventually became of Eosmon. and it shows her flashbacks of her growing up and how the kids at school don't understand her, but then she wants to grow up and then she's going to do her research and stuff like that. And then Morphemon disappears, and I cried twice during this movie rewatching this. I cried definitely when I watched it for the first time, but I cried twice. I don't care. They tell you guys that. I'm gonna be honest with you. But when Morphemon's disappearing, so sad, man. And then Morphemon has like this butterfly little pin that she drops and gives to Manoa. You see, she's got it on her hair. So, our heroes make their way in there, and it's interesting because Sora doesn't get involved, and it cuts to her a few times talking to Biyomon, like, we're not going to get involved in this fight. And, that's sort of like the ship, Sora and Tai, of course. And you see her, you get another scene of her encouraging, like, I know you guys can do it. And so Tai and Matt decide to fight, and they're in the digital world now, where Manoa's turned everyone back to children, and they all have, like, these evil red eyes, and it's like, oh, stay with us. And you have Kari and Izzy, like, holding down Tai, and then Joe, Mimi, and TK holding down Matt, and eventually they form Omnimon again, but Omnimon is no match and gets attacked by Eosmon because there's a bunch of different copies of Eosmon, sort of like what they did with Diaboromon in our war game, and Eosmon goes out into the real world and starts trying to capture all the Digidestined, because in Manoa's eyes, she's doing a good thing because she wants to make all the children young again so they can be with their Digimon forever, right? But we all got to grow up at some point. So, and then we get the cameos of the 02 kids fighting, and that was awesome with XVmon and Wormmon getting involved. So cool seeing that, fighting, defending some of the kids there. Like I said, I want to see more of the 02 kids. I love the initial series, but 02 gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time. So it'd be cool if they did another movie for that. I think they are at some point. There's at least talk about it. So they have the final battle, and this got a little controversy. They do the final evolution. I played that song at the beginning there, which is very emotional, man. But this is like the ultra, the mega evolution of Agumon and Gabumon, called the Bond of Friendship. And they almost look like humans, right? Oh, shit, that didn't work out, did it? Let's reload that. But, Gabumon, the Bond of Friendship, is that it? Yeah. That's like concept art there. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Well, you get the idea. I showed you the picture of it. I think I still have it here. You're right there, right? So they go in for the final attack against Manoa, and then eventually, as it's concluded, you see their Digivices, and there's like one little sign left on it, like it was a clock. Maybe there was 20 around it, and there's one left on each of them, and it shows Yotaro arresting Manoa, and it good ending there of everyone returning back to normal, and they're like, oh, what happened? And then I cried, dude. At the end, they had a sunset with Tai, with Agumon, and Matt with Gabumon, and Matt breaks out the harmonica, and that's reminiscent for the initial series. He starts playing the harmonica, and Gabumon's like, oh, you picked up playing harmonica again? And Matt's just like, oh, I just felt the urge to play it again. It's nostalgic for me. And he starts playing, and then Agumon is talking to Tai, and it's like, Tai, would you get me some shaved ice? And Tai gets him the shaved ice, and they both look away for a minute. And Agumon, like, I'm getting teared up talking about it right now. Agumon says to Tai, so Tai, what will you do tomorrow? And Tai says, well, we never really know what tomorrow brings. And he turns to Agumon, and Agumon's gone. At the same time, Matt turns and Gabumon's gone, and the time that they have with them is no more, and they disappear, and the two protagonists there start crying, and dude, I'm getting emotional talking about it. Like, it fucking, for a long time fans of the Digimon series, just thinking about it and watching it again, it's very emotional for how long the series has been on. I've rewatched it multiple times. I love the initial movie. The three OVAs put together. I know people criticize them a lot, but I love it. I still remember going and watching theaters, watching the VHS, and just a perfect send-off to this. And just the fact that they got some of the voice cast to return, especially Joshua Seth, which a few weeks ago, Joshua Seth was trending on Twitter because it was his birthday, and also Digimon Survive finally got rated T for teen, so that game's moving right along, been delayed for so many years. But if you're a Digimon fan and you haven't seen this yet, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely fantastic. A perfect send-off to the series. Very emotional. Animation's fantastic by Toei Animation. Shout Studios was involved in the dubbing, I guess. That's what it says on the back here. And overall, I loved it. It's absolutely fantastic. I do hope we get some love for the 02 kids with them either getting a reboot series or a movie at some point. But if you're a Digimon fan, you haven't seen this, definitely recommend. And, oh man, I loved it. So, great series, great movie. And that's all I got to say for this. I'm going to go throw this off and cry in the corner now. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know your thought in the comments down below. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. And if you have any suggestions of anime to watch, movies, preferably shorter series, because, I can only invest so much time in watching like 300, 400 long episodes. So a shorter series would be nice. I think my next review, to go to even more depressing term, maybe Neon Genesis Evangelion, but who knows. So give me some suggestions down below as well. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.